Yo, g'day there. Today I've got something very special. It's cacao pod and it's now ripe. I've been waiting about a week, just over a week for this to ripen. And this here is what David Wolfe said in his book Naked Chocolate. Virtually opened his mind to this incredible substance. And today I'm going to open it. I'm going to make a elixir. Smoothie, tonic herbs, superfoods, and we're just going to sort of mix it up a bit. And I'm going to also show you how to open it. But first of all, to tell, if you ever come across one of these, now I've been into chocolate for a couple of years. I'm not like a chocolate freak, like I don't eat it every day. So I do find it is a little bit, stimulating, and I do use it as a, more medicinal sort of thing. Not saying I don't absolutely love it. Now to tell that it's ripe, you shake it and you'll hear the beans inside moving around. Now to open it, find a hard surface and just whack it down. So here we go. Here we go, I'm just opening it now. There we go, isn't that beautiful? Such a rare sight here in Australia. I just feel so. I bought two. One of them was ripe when I first got it, and I was just completely over the moon. I just could not believe it. It's like a dream come true. So this is the second one I've opened now. And here you go, the cacao bean, and you've got this white sort of pulp on the outside, effectively, and it's actually very sweet, the pulp. Now I can just go ahead and bite, straight into it. And you can see maybe it's very purple. So this is the raw cacao bean. Usually from this point they'll spread it out onto some sort of mat with the pulp, and then they'll let it sit there and it will ferment for a day or so. And and that's when the richer sort of flavors of the chocolate come through. At the moment it's quite sort of bitter. It's still chocolatey, but it's not that rich, the richness of the chocolate fully coming through here. Another thing about the raw cacao when it's in this sort of form is that the theobromine, which is related to caffeine, the stimulating factor which most people get stimulated from in the fermented cacao, it's not actually present at this point. So apparently and what I experienced last time I ate nearly a whole pot and I was invigorated. I felt high. I felt absolutely off the hook. But I didn't have that rush which I sometimes get if I were to eat anywhere in that sort of amount of chocolate. So anyway, I'm going to make an elixir, and I've made a nettle tea. And it's lukewarm. I'm going to throw a bunch of these in there. Might get a spoon actually. I'm putting about 8 of those in there. Another thing is from the other pod that I opened up last week is in the center. You can see this bit here, and it's called the Tree of Life. Don't throw this out. Dry it, or you can eat it fresh like that. Dry it like this, and you can eat it as is. And it's kind of crispy. It has got that chocolate flavor. And it's mildly sweet. That's really cool. So, I've got my nettle tea, I've got my raw cacao. What are we going to go for here? I'm just going to, as I grab things, I'm just going to put them in. Put some MSM in here. Putting about a teaspoon. This is fantastic for your skin and your joints and your liver, the methyl donors. It's really important substance to have. It's my beautiful little baby daughter Aura in the background. Next is some spirulina. Spirulina and cacao go really well together. Not many green foods do, but spirulina will because it's got phenethylamine in it, which works really good. It's a love chemical. The chocolate has it as well, so we'll double up on that. Fantastic synergy. Maybe that was just under a teaspoon. Another one in that same category is AFA blue-green algae. You know, both these, the spirulina and this, it's like a full-on, you know, full-on superfood. You could just live off this sort of stuff. Very high in minerals, vitamins, amino acids, the whole deal. This actually, you know, the taste isn't too bad. It's not as strong as the spirulina, so I'll put a little bit more in, probably just over a teaspoon. And what else we got here? That looks like, that's lucuma. Lucuma is fantastic. Because chocolate can be quite yang, quite warming, invigorating, you need something to balance it out. And that's what lucuma is great for. So we've got it in our old sauerkraut jar here. It's one of our original labels. Check that out. Come a long way. So this is, I'm going to put about maybe a tablespoon and a half of that one. It's also great, like, you know, vegan alternative for, you know, for protein, or like, not really like as a protein supplement, but if you want to make a smoothie where someone might use protein, you can use lucuma to bulk it up a little bit. This is something that we just got recently. This is rice bran extract, tocotrienols. Really, really high in vitamin E and CoQ10, and it's just so like fluffy and delicious. Can't believe this isn't in Australia yet, but it will be, and I'm working on that. And so I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of this in. This is it kind of melts in your mouth, and it is vegan, and but it gives it that sort of, you know, creamy dairy sort of feel in your smoothie, and you can just eat that straight out of the jar. It's like that good. Okay, next thing's next. We've got some royal jelly. Wow, one of the great tonic superfoods on the planet we got here. Just so privileged to have this. It's a major Jing substance. Great for your immune system. Like, I really just feel blessed, and I definitely, this is something that I do eat every day. Probably try and get a little bit more. It's just so good. A little bit funny taste to begin with, but I'm sort of more used to it now, and I can just eat it by the spoonful. If you can get some of this into your life, it's a good thing. Okay, what's next? Zeolites. Zeolites, great for detoxing heavy metals, pollution, especially in a world where radioactive fallout is very prevalent. You're not supposed to really touch metal onto this sort of thing, just because of the way it's charged. It could actually drag metal off the object you're using. So I'm going to use a ceramic knife. This is actually Omika's zeolite mix, and it's got MSM and turmeric in it. They call it a elixir powder. That's mainly zeolites. Alright, what's next? Minerals. Can't make a smoothie without, or elixir, without some minerals in there. The building blocks of life. Full spectrum, Omika, once again. Omika's a great brand, really like it. Okay, so now we're going to get into our tonic herbs. Now I've sort of been mucking around with these for the last few weeks, and I'm getting close to nailing like a coffee sort of flavour. This is going to, so the end flavour for this I'm going for is like a mocha, sort of chocolate coffee mix. I'm just going to go through these pretty quickly because there's quite a few of them. Eucommia, it's a yang herb, really good for strengthening your knees and the back, any lower back problems. Fantastic for growing. If you've got any joint problems or bone problems or anything like that, breakages. Salvia, it's I mean, amongst a lot of things, it's a Shen tonic, but it connects your heart meridian to your lung meridian. It's the only herb that does that. And we've got chaga, big on mushrooms. Like, these are just incredible for your immune system. This is another one. This is a 12 mushroom blend. It's got quite a few mushrooms: chaga, reishi, maitake. I'm going to double up on some of them here, because cordyceps, for example, because yeah, like say the reishi and the cordyceps and chaga, they're so good. I like to put a little bit more in. And on that, I'm going to put some cordyceps in here. This was said by the Chinese to help make them win the Olympics. A major athlete herb, gives you energy. Also, you know, once again, building the immune system, things like that. Astragalus, a chi tonic. So this is sort of like, it's going to give you energy. It's also really good for blood builder. And, you know, being dubbed as a like major anti-aging herb. There's the supplement TR65, which is a astragalus extract, which is telomere lengthening, which is the only proven anti-aging formula out there. So that just says a little bit about astragalus. Next is reishi. Reishi is my favorite. Like, this stuff sends you flying. I mean, like, sometimes I have it in my partner at night or on the day, and we just totally feel it. Like, it just brings you straight into line. You know, you can close your eyes, you can go astral traveling on it. It's really, really incredible, extremely dynamic herb. So I'm going to put, I haven't really been saying how much I put of these in, but I'll put a bit more of the reishi in, because it's sort of like a leading herb. Always in Chinese herbalism, there's like a leading herb, and then there's like supporting herbs. So I definitely put the most in of that one. Morinda, it's another yang herb. This is getting a little bit, just probably half teaspoon. It's young. It's also good, really good for mothers, sort of thing, breastfeeding, even just growing a child. And we've got Hushi Wu. Oh no, this is actually labelled wrong. This is lithium or goji berry. Now, a lot of the herbs I've been putting in have been like very young herbs, like sort of, you know, giving you a lot of energy. Goji berry or lithium is one of the ones which sort of will replenish energy. It's very yin. You know, also very good blood builder, fantastic for women. So I sort of like try and balance it out, like looking at the sort of the contents and knowing, you know, how yang or how yin something is, and then sort of working out, you know, so it's sort of a balanced sort of formula that I'm putting in of everything. So I'll put a little bit more of this in, because I put in like a lot of little bits of yang. So there's probably just under a tablespoon. And yeah, so this is Hushi Wu. So this is the same thing. It's very yin, fantastic for I was having chronic lower back problems, and I know this is the one that really, you know, helped me with that, because it's very, you know, replenishing. If you've got lower back problems, it's said in Chinese medicine that it's your adrenals being depleted, a little bit sort of worn out. So this can help replenish that and sort of, you know, charge those adrenals back up. And once again, because mostly yang herbs, it's only this and the lithium that are the yin, I'm going to be putting a little bit more in. And also this with the reishi is what gives it the maca flavour. That's sort of like the key combination there. Sustange as well. Now, virtually all these herbs are going to help you with libido, sex drive, and with that you're going to have more energy, and you can choose how you want to direct that in your life. But Sustange is a major tonic for that. People that are having you know, sort of libido problems. But once again, because it's sort of all associated with your kidneys and your adrenals, and then if your lower back could be hurting, or even your knees could be hurting, you know, you could backtrack and go, well, my knees are hurting, my lower back's hurting a little bit, feeling a little bit low on energy, and the Hushi Wu would help with that. But the Sustange is going to help tonify that, and you know, help you use what energy you've got. So I'm going to put a bit of that in. It doesn't taste too bad either. These are all extracts, by the way, from 10 to 1. Oh, apart from the cordyceps and the and the chaga, that's mycelium biomass. And then I've got eucommia here. Did I put eucommia? No, I put eucommia in. I'm going to put a bit of maca. Maca and chocolate go really well together because it's winter as well. Maca's nice and warming, so we can put some of that in. Like, I really love this stuff. Also really good for your hormones, regulating your hormones. It's something that you probably want to like vary. You know, if you do a week on, do a week or two off, something like that. Sort of like trick your body when you're going to have that. If you have it every day, your body's just going to get used to it, and it's not going to really work. One of the last things is, you know, raw chocolate powder, because the chocolate bean doesn't really have that like rich chocolate flavor. I'm going to put some chocolate powder, and that work with chocolate beans really just going to work the magic. So let's look at this. Just going to put probably like a heaped tablespoon there. Now last but not least is some fat. Like, the fat's going to help bind like everything together. It's going to sort of help it sort of digest better as well, and you're going to help stimulate. I pretty much live a very low glycemic diet, very little sugar, very little fruit, so I get a lot of my energy from fat. I find that, you know, when I do have that, I've got a longer lasting energy. It doesn't spike. I don't feel I'm not tired. I go through the whole day. So I'm using ghee, biodynamic ghee that we made ourselves. I'm going to put a decent amount of this in. There's a tablespoon and a bit more. I wouldn't usually put that much fat in my smoothie, just because I mean, like, I don't really like to have like that much because I feel like it can weigh me down. But I'm doing a candida cleanse at the moment, which I do need to have a tablespoon with fat every meal. It's candida release, and I'm going to throw that in the smoothie as well. Gets rid of parasites. It breaks down the chitin wall of the candida. It's like the barnacle wall, so then your immune system can attack it. And same with parasites and, you know, all funguses. That, you know, they're all built up of this sort of barnacle sort of wall. And it breaks that down. Your immune system can attack it. Seems we're doing okay. You know, I'm just sort of trying it out. And because it's a low glycemic smoothie, I mean, you could do whatever you want. You know, honey's great. You know, I'm going to use some stevia. I think Omica stevia here is the best stevia on the market. This is butterscotch, toffee flavour. Like, you can't really go wrong. It's raw as well, so, and it's organic. So, like, it hasn't been heat processed. It's when they heat process it, it gets that real bitter sort of aftertaste, which isn't much fun. If I had some xylitol here, I'd probably add a little bit of xylitol as well, and the two mixed together really sort of give you that like sugar sort of flavour, that sugar hit, because the stevia sort of is longer lasting sweet, and the xylitol hits you sort of thing, so it gives it a little bit more body. So here, it's very strong, so I don't need to put much in. So I think that was eight drops. Okay, I think that's it. Looks like it. I'm going to blend that up. There we go, fantastic. The $30 blender from $2 shop does the job. So let's give this a go. I actually haven't made a smoothie before with the cacao pods, so we'll see how it tastes. Yeah, it's good. It's nice. I mean, the idea here is just to sort of just play around with all these different superfoods and super herbs as well. and just sort of do some experimenting. And you've got a full meal here, and it's amazing how long you can go. With these, sort of incorporating, at least one of these sort of drinks into your day. All right, well, I hope you get a chance to give something like this a go sometime. Adios.